Hello, 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 and welcome to French Dip Empire. I'm the Empress, and today we are doing our very first Royal Roundup, a little look back at some of the news and happenings of the European royal families and the members, their relatives, and assorted hangers-on, but mostly the royal family members. So let's get into it. Our first story is out of Norway. We have a couple stories out of Norway here it is currently, as I am talking, it is the beginning of July. It is July 6th to be precise. And last month, June, was Pride Month. And in honor of Pride Month, Princess Märtha Louise's daughter, her eldest daughter, Maud Behn, came out. She came out as bisexual, which is not unique in the Norwegian royal family, as the princess's current husband, her second husband, the shaman, who we have covered extensively on this show. He is also bisexual, so multiple members of the Norwegian royal family are representing in the LGBTQ plus community, and in celebration of this, Princess Märtha and her daughter Maud were at the Oslo Pride festival, parade, etc. Celebration in the capital of Norway. And here you can see a little picture of the princess on the right there with her daughter Maud, who has rainbow-colored hair to match her rainbow flag and rainbow earrings. And we'll scroll down. Here we go. Happy bisexual pride, writes Maud Angelica Behn, daughter of Princess Märtha Louise of Norway and the late writer Ari Behn, on her Instagram account, taking advantage of Oslo Pride, which has been taking place in the Norwegian capital these past few days and is one of the most prominent in Europe. Along with her mother, and her husband, Durek Verrett. Well, that's obviously the princess's husband. That's the shaman, not Maud's husband. She is not married. Proclaimed that love is never wrong. And here is Maud in the holding the bisexual pride flag in the front there, with the pink, purple, and blue, and also the colors of her fan and of her outfit. I think she has a flag wrapped around her waist as a skirt, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go, and multicolored beads, a little Mardi Gras-esque with the beads, and rainbow face paint. So she was getting into the celebratory mood at Pride this year. And continuing with the article, here we see, here's the shaman, Durek Verrett, on the left, and Princess Märtha Louise on the right, also wearing multicolors, rainbow colors. I think, actually, the shaman, his blue and white shirt, I think that is from Märtha's clothing line, the clothing line she co-owns, which is Hest, and you can kind of see it looks like the H of their logo, which tends to be printed on the Hest clothing. And Märtha and the shaman, both, Märtha especially, I've noticed, tends to rep her brand an awful lot. So continuing the article, this is the first time the granddaughter of the head of state, meaning the King of Norway, has publicly shared her sexuality, and her comments have been picked up by virtually every media outlet in the country, and are also receiving widespread attention in European publications. This year's Pride was absolutely incredible, and there was so much love, said the eldest daughter of Princess Märtha Louise, who is fifth in line to the Norwegian throne. And there is mother and daughter again, Princess Märtha Louise. Oh, okay, I see. She has a rainbow-colored jacket, like a jean jacket type of thing, but in multicolored denim. I think it's denim. And then Maud, her eldest of the three daughters that she had with Ari Behn, who is no longer with us, And we covered this over in past episodes. We have a series. If you are new to Friendship Empire, welcome, and go to our playlist on YouTube, the Scandals of the Norwegian Royal Family series. We have extensively covered the princess and her husband, both her husbands, the current husband, the shaman, and her late husband, first husband, the father of her children. And you can, if you're not familiar with their stories, or even if you are, there might be a few tidbits of history and gossip that you may not have known. Go back and check those out, those episodes in that playlist. But continuing this article, Princess Märtha Louisa of Norway, who attended a parade with the slogan, "Be who you are, love who you want," delivered a message that was much more than a matter of support for her daughter, as she herself has recently been questioned for loving Durek Verrett, whom she finally married last summer after renouncing her rights and obligations to the institution, meaning the monarchy. There is something profoundly beautiful in daring to love who you love, even when the world tells you to be silent, to shrink, or to hide. But love is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be celebrated, lived, and shared in all its wonderful forms. Pride is not just about identity. It is about freedom. It is about the courage to be fully yourself in a world that often doesn't make it easy, writes the princess. So there you go. There's Maud, and she is out as a bisexual for the first time at Oslo Pride with her mother, Princess Märtha Louisa, and her, well, indeed, bisexual stepfather, the shaman Durek Verrett. And continuing with news from the Norwegian royal house, the rest of Märtha's and Maud's family, the Norwegian royal family proper, on a secret vacation together. This headline is funny. The royal family surprised, quote, everyone. I don't know why that's in quotes. And again, this has been translated from Norwegian, so maybe there's some meaning that I'm not picking up on because I am far from fluent in Norwegian. But the royal family surprised, quote, everyone, unquote, when they arrived in the small village on Sunday. And what's funny about this, and perhaps why they put everyone in quotes, it's not so secret because I think it would be okay to watch a little bit of this embedded video. There are people there waiting to greet them. It looks like local officials and also just some, locals, maybe tourists who have decided to come out and check the arrival of the members of the royal family, which actually included Princess Märtha and the shaman. And here, I will, before we actually read the article, the caption says, summer vacation. The residents of Solvorn in Luster suddenly had the king visit and the whole entourage. Here, I will make this full screen, and I really hope that the music is not a problem in terms of copyright. I don't want to get dinged, but I also think that the music is funny because it has a bit of a circus quality to it, and this is one of the most, it's very dull. They just show up. There's so little fanfare for this majestic royal arrival at this town. It really does look like they just wanted to show up almost anonymous and, oh no, there are people here. Now we have to wave, but it's funny. So here we go. Can you hear the music? There's the shaman. There's Märtha. And that's the crown prince and the crown princess. That's Håkon and Mette-Marit. What is with the silly music? I don't know why, but it's funny. And I really wish Seohor would not put their video controls right in the middle of the video. But I'm going to go back because the king and the queen were there as well. And I'll point them out. Let me play this again real quick. Oh, no. Oh, it went back and now it's playing a different video. Well, thanks for working with me, Seohor. All right, I'll just reload this and then that will Reload the video. Here we go. Let me make it full screen. And you can see the king is using canes on both his left and his right side. He hasn't been in the best of health in recent years. Okay, pull back. There's the king. You can sort of barely see him. And again, the crown prince and princess and Märtha and the shaman. And there's the queen, who you can barely see. And again, I don't think this was a secret, unanticipated visit, considering that I don't think the lady puts on her pretty summer dress just to wander around town. This seems like everyone else is in the background are dressed fairly casually, and she clearly got dressed up for the royal visitors, not quite so secret or unexpected. So the article, it doesn't say that much, but let's see. The summer holidays are already well underway for many. It is also the case for the Norwegian Royal Family, who usually have their plans ready for the coming months. It has not been publicly known where the royal family will vacation this year, but it is common for them to spend the summer on their private properties, including the cottage on Magero. I know I didn't say that perfectly. In previous years, the royal couple has also taken friends on a Norwegian holiday with the royal ship. And we're going to see a picture of that ship in just a minute. The queen usually starts with a birthday celebration at the cabin on Magero before she often takes friends on a Norwegian holiday with the royal ship. Often the trip goes to the north, where she loves to take advantage of nature. And it is gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. There are some pictures of farther down on this, in this article, and you can see how lovely it is. Every small local art gallery is also welcome to visit. I don't think they mean that. I think they mean she visits the art galleries. Art galleries can't visit you. Oh, hello, movie of the week in the chat. I see you vibing to the music. It does have a bit of a wacky circus quality, does it not? For such a rather pedestrian a group of people just walking, just completely normal. All right. Despite the fact that King Harold, 88, and Queen Sonja, also 88, are well over 80 years old. Yes, 8 years over 80. They are no stranger to active vacations. The royal family is currently enjoying the summer days on the royal ship. And there you go. There is a picture of the royal ship anchored in Solhorn. And it's just stunning. Not the ship. The ship is nice, I'm sure, but the nature, the vista there. It's lovely. It's gorgeous. Although it does remind me of a movie that I saw. I believe it was a Norwegian movie. I believe it was set in Norway. It was either that or or Sweden, but I think it was Norway. Definitely Scandinavia, because it was about people. It was a disaster movie, and there was a giant flood, and the floodwaters came like through the sort of valley here, and people had to run up the sides of mountains in order to escape it. So I can't help thinking that, but it also looks just gorgeous, and that was a silly movie, so no worries for the Norwegian royal family, that's for sure. So, okay, there's the ship, and there they are. Smiles, everybody, smiles. Again, the shaman here in what looks like pajama pants, honestly. He looks comfy. And Märtha putting on her sunglasses. Mette-Marit, the crown princess. Håkon, the crown prince. There's the king and his canes and the queen behind him. And the children don't seem to be... I actually, there were some other people, maybe one or two of them might have been one or two of the other daughters of Princess Märtha, but I noticed that the children of the crown prince and princess are not there, especially the crown princess's son Marius. He's definitely not there. He's been in more than a little bit of trouble. If you've been following our coverage of the Crown Princess's son, Marius Borg-Høiby, he is in a lot of, alleged trouble. He has 23 criminal charges semi-pending against him. It's a a very weird case that has been going on since last August. And if you are not up to date on that, I would recommend, again, checking out our playlist, Scandals of the Norwegian Royal Family, and the updates on Marius Borg Høiby, the son of the Crown Princess from her previous relationship, not from her marriage to the Crown Prince. So that's why it's her son and it's his stepson. They have 2 children together, if you don't already know that. So let's continue. On Saturday morning, that would be yesterday as I'm speaking, many people were amazed when the ship suddenly anchored in Flom, where there you go, where Princess Ingrid Alexandra, 21, Prince Sverre Magnus, 19, those are the 2 children of the Crown Prince and Princess that they have in common, and Maud Angelica, that's Maud Behn, who we were just speaking of, 22, were on board. For the occasion, Sverre Magnus also brought his girlfriend Amelie Giver MacLeod, according to Sonja Avis. Oh, I'm not familiar with that publication. So, and all the gang were there. However, the children weren't photographed. On Sunday, the entire royal family... Wait, where were the kids? I didn't see Marius. I didn't see the other kids. Received a warm welcome at Solvorn. Everyone present quickly flocked to the pier to take pictures and greet the royals. Solvorn is a village in Luster municipality in Sogn og Fjordane. The place is located on the west side of the Lustrafjord, across from Ornes. And there's another photograph of the members of the royal family getting on the wharf. And all the tourists, everyone looking. Locals and tourists, I'm sure. We're on vacation here now, and we're out cycling. Suddenly, the whole royal family shows up, an insider tells Dagbladet. Princess Märtha Louise, 53, and her husband Durek Verret, 50, appeared with the royal couple, as well as Crown Princess Mette-Marit, 51, and Crown Prince Haakon, 51. And there's the Queen. The royal family is currently enjoying the summer days on the royal ship and has embarked on a tour of Norway in the usual style. But where the trip will continue is not yet known. Okay, and then they just go over what has been going on with the family in here. That's Princess Ingrid and that's Prince Magnus. And there are some more photos. Fairly recent, I think. This was not that long ago. I mean, very recent. So again, that's Crown Prince Haakon. Oh, don't do that. Crown Prince Mette-Marit, the Queen, the King, Magnus, and Ingrid. And there they are again. Okay, so that's what's up in Norway. And now we move on to Denmark. Okay, Crown Prince Christian, the royal house confirms, must step in. It sounds very dramatic, but it's simply that Crown Prince Christian is going to be acting, or is currently acting as a regent because his father is out of the country. And I suppose whoever, I don't know exactly the line of who gets to be in charge when everyone's out of the country, but in this case, the Crown Prince gets to play regent while daddy is abroad. And this photo, I look at this photo, this is where Crown Prince Christian has been lately. He was at the Roskilde Music Festival, which was held recently in Denmark. And I just, when I look at this photo, I just think, find yourself someone who looks at you the way the Crown Prince looks at this tanned, tall gentleman next to him, his friend. I actually don't know if he's looking at him. It looks like he might be looking over the guy's shoulder, but it kind of looks like he's looking lovingly at this tan gentleman next to him. I don't think that's actually what's happening, but anyway, here's another picture of Christian here on the right with his friends. Yesterday, Danish Crown Prince Christian, 19, partied to live music at the Roskilde Festival like any other young person, while today the day looks completely different for the 19-year-old. The Danish royal house confirms that Crown Prince Christian is regent from today until the end of next week. A regent is a person who temporarily performs the role of head of state in a monarchy. In Norway, for example, Crown Prince Haakon is regent when King Harald is abroad or ill. And, however, it is not clear why Crown Prince Christian has to step in or why his father, King Fredrik 57, is abroad. Well, actually, we do know one reason why Fredrik is abroad. He has been at Wimbledon, and we're going to see him there in just a moment. And there's Christian wearing his little hat from his graduation cap from his high school graduation, with his father, the King Fredrik, and his mother, Crown Prince Mary, on the right. Okay, continuing. According to Danish Billedbladet, however, here we go. Fredrik has been observed in the United Kingdom. He suddenly appeared on the TV screen during today's Wimbledon match. Okay, and let's see, where's the Insta? Oh, it's down here. Okay, so here's an Insta, and we should be able to play this and see Fredrik, and hopefully, again, there won't be any broadcast copyright dingings for me, but there will be a little bit of tennis playing, and then you will see Fredrik. So here we go. And there he is. That's Fredrik on the left, with a gray and pink striped tie, enjoying Wimbledon. There you go. So and that's the first royal that we are featuring at Wimbledon. And in just a few moments, we will be going on to see the other royals and royal adjacent family members who have been attending the first week of the Wimbledon tennis tournament in just a little bit, members of the British royal family, not just Danish. That's the only foreign royal family member thus far that I have seen reported attending Wimbledon. But we've gone almost a half an hour at this point, and if you're enjoying the show, I would please go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and subscribe, and if you're listening or watching live, go ahead and say hello in the chat, and let me know what you think. What you think of the royals, what you think they will be doing. What do you think the Norwegian royal family will be doing with the rest of their summer? Do you think they will be enjoying their vacations, or do you think their vacations will be interrupted by some more criminal issues with Marius? Do you think we will see any more royals beyond the Brits at Wimbledon? Let us know. And if you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and leave a comment on the video itself. Again, this is Friendship Empire, and I am the Empress, and let's get back to this article. So, as mentioned, Crown Prince Christian was at the annual Roskilde festival. Danish Se og Hør met the 19-year-old at the festival earlier this week, and he did not hide his excitement. I'm looking forward to everything and the party, perhaps most of all to Annika, the Crown Prince told Danish Se og Hør. They say Danish because there's the Swedish version and the Norwegian version, multiple versions of Se og Hør magazine. And that apparently is Annika. Vederkop, don't know her, but I guess she's big in Denmark? Don't know. And here we go, Christian again on the left, and some buddies at the Roskilde festival. The Crown Prince's presence at Roskilde comes only a short time after he made history. During a cabinet meeting led by King Fredrik, Crown Prince Christian took his place at the table as the heir to the throne. This was the very first time since the change of throne last year. And if you aren't aware, King Fredrik came to the throne upon the abdication of his mother, Queen Margrethe, who I honestly never expected to abdicate. That was a shocker for me. I assumed she would stay on the throne until her natural end. And as far as I know, she wasn't in any particularly bad health. I mean, everyone over a certain age tends to have some complaints, but I didn't think that there was any, say, medical reason, especially when we see the way that, for example, King Harold of Norway, he's had a lot of problems, but he keeps chugging along. So, although, honestly, I don't think at this point in time with the difficulties that have been going on in the royal family, what with his son's stepson getting into so much criminal trouble, and I mean serious criminal allegations and charges, might not be the best time to hand over power to the husband and the husband of the man, of the woman, who's we haven't had that coming out yet. Not that I'm anticipating it, but it could be a difficult thing, difficult questions to ask. Like, what were you doing this whole time, Håkon? Were you and your wife not keeping an eye on Marius? Not so little anymore. And there have actually been, I've seen some articles floating rumors about should Håkon divorce Mette-Marit in order to, I guess, strengthen his position as the heir to the throne, with no ties to the criminality. But I think that ship has probably sailed, and I don't think that a divorce would be a good PR move anyway. I don't think it would work, but I guess it remains to be seen. So back to the article and back to Denmark. In the meeting, His Royal Highness, meaning Christian, signed a declaration in accordance with Section 8 of the Constitution, in which he will unwaveringly comply with the Constitution, the Danish royal house wrote in a post on Instagram. And there is Christian looking serious with his dad, Fredrik, the king, off to the right there. And there we can see them in the room with the, governmental bigwigs. And there he's signing. And there they are. Again, you can see the room and the chandelier and the paintings and whatnot. And one more. Oh, and there you go. There's his little, okay, if I can't see a business card and not start thinking of the lines from American Psycho where they're comparing their business cards, which look basically identical. Anyway, so do you think the color is bone? What do you think the color of Crown Prince Christian's calling card, business card, whatever, is? So there you go. And Christian signed a similar document in November last year, shortly after his 18th birthday, but as he has now officially become heir to the throne, the declaration had to be made again. Now he is stepping into the role for good. So that's what's up in the Danish royal house. There's Christian again, and his father at Wimbledon, and now we move out of Scandyland and go down to the Benelux region, and here's Belgium's Prince Emanuel. We'll see him in a second. 19, revealed to have secret music career as DJ Vintrix. And that's Emanuel, looking not like a DJ, looking very royal in his suit, his jacket and tie, suit and tie. Okay. The New York Post. One reason to read the New York Post is they're occasionally good, but always somewhat bad puns, usually in the headlines. Here they saved it for the first line of the article, where they write, "The Fresh Prince of Belgium." Oh, that's a bad one. That's a really bad one. The Fresh Prince of Belgium. Belgium's Prince Emanuel has quietly launched, not that quietly, we're all hearing about it, a successful career, is it, as a disc jockey under the stage name DJ Vintrix. Actually, I think it's he and a friend. But yeah, the 19-year-old, who is the youngest son of King Philippe and Queen Mathilde, has been spinning decks in his free time and even released a handful of dance tracks in recent weeks. Local outlet Het Laatste Nieuws reports. Emanuel's DJ Instagram account has surged past 10,000 followers since his secret career came to light. Last month, the young royal surprised fans. How can you have fans if you have a secret career? With 2 track drops, releasing upbeat tune Rio on June 16, followed by the aptly named track Palace. The songs credit Emanuel de Saxe as the composer, which is a nod to Emanuel's full name, Emanuel of Saxe-Coburg, as well as his hidden talent as a saxophonist. Aha, more puns. Sax, get it? Yeah. The teen, who is third in line to the Belgian throne, was recently able to showcase his musical offerings during a summer garden party the Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg hosted at Berg Castle. Now that's nepotism at its finest. You're a prince, you're a DJ, and you get hired by the Grand Duke of Luxembourg to DJ at his garden party. That's fantastic. So we're covering more than just one Benelux country. We're actually, in the entire show today, we are going to hit all of the Benelux countries. We're here in Belgium. Now we've just mentioned Luxembourg, and we are going to go to the Netherlands in a little bit and look at the recent photo shoot of the Dutch royal family. So this here is an overhead photo of Emanuel at the decks. Spinning decks, as it says in the post caption here. Okay, the Grand Duke Henri has been throwing a series of fun soirees ahead of his abdication in October. See, another abdication that's just, well, I think there is a little bit of perhaps a political motive, but we could talk about that another time. We will be doing our abdication or more transition of power coverage when that occurs in the beginning of October. We'll look at that more in depth, the Luxembourg royal family. His eldest son, Guillaume, will take over the throne. The Belgian royals boast a close friendship with Luxembourg's royal family. Grand Duke Henri's mother, Josephine Charlotte, was the sister of Emmanuel's grandfather, King Albert II of Belgium, who we have a little news on coming up. And then here is another photograph of Emanuel in disguise with his face covered, promoting his music. Emanuel, for his part, spent a lot of his childhood surrounded by his Luxembourgish relatives. Outside of his musical interests, the teen, who is fluent in French, Dutch, and English, boasts an international baccalaureate diploma, IB diploma program. I think he has the diploma, not the program, which is comparable to a combination of demanding coursework and AP exams. The prince learned Dutch at the Eureka School in Leuven, Belgium, or Leuven. After successfully completing the course, he is now following a language and sports training at an academy abroad, according to the royal website. Emanuel loves nature and practices the following sports: skiing, tennis, windsurfing, and running. He also plays the saxophone, the site adds. And then here we have a photograph of the Belgian royal family, or, well, at least the core. Here we have Emanuel on the right. And then that is his elder sister, the heir to their father, the king. That's Princess Elisabeth. And then you have the King Philippe here, his wife, Queen Mathilde, their elder of their 2 sons. That's Prince Gabriel. And then their younger daughter, Princess Eleanor, on the left. Continuing, indeed, the young royal appears to have taken on a particular interest in sports, having enrolled in a special program at a Spanish soccer academy. Last year, the teen spent time in Spain, training to compete at the highest levels of men's professional soccer, known as La Liga or the Primera División, HLN reported. And it looks as though brains run in the family, as Emanuel's older sister, Princess Elisabeth, is currently enrolled at Harvard University. Well, you don't need brains to go to Harvard if you're connected and, wealthy, but many such cases, but I won't go more into that. And then they get a little political. The 23-year-old royal has just wrapped up her first year at the Ivy League school and recently faced uncertainty after getting caught in the crossfire of President Trump's showdown with the prestigious Ivy League college. Elisabeth, who also goes by the title of Duchess of Brabant in her home country, was at the risk of being sent back to Belgium as part of Trump's crackdown on international students, which was blocked by a federal judge last month. Honestly, do you honestly think that the heir to the Belgian throne would have had a problem staying either at Harvard or in the country? I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't imagine that as bad as people think Trump can be, I don't exactly think he'd be sending ICE off to drag the Belgian princess out of her dorm room or whatever luxury apartment she may be staying in Cambridge. But anyway, or near there, who knows where she's staying? I don't know. But back to Emanuel. Here he is, looking very clean cut for a DJ. Back to the princess. The princess is the heir to the Belgian throne, being the eldest of 4 children, born to King Philippe and Queen Mathilde. Before enrolling at Harvard, Elisabeth earned a history and politics degree from the University of Oxford in England. How nice. Okay, so I know you'll want to hear some of Emanuel's music. So I have to pull this up again. It's not going to play properly through that archive link, but I should be able to get it through here. Oh, here we go. This is great. This is perfect. Okay, so this is the Instagram account of the Luxembourg court, as you see, Cour Grand Ducal, and then Vintrix Rio radio edit. So we're going to see a little video from the garden party that was held in Luxembourg. This is Grand Duke Henri over here on the left, his wife, the Grand Duchess Maria Theresa, and you can kind of see him a little bit back here. That is the hereditary Grand Duke, the heir to his father, who is going to become the new Grand Duke in October. That is Guillaume. So I will play this. Oh, that's Stephanie. Oh, and there's Louis. Louis again. That's their son, the Grand Duke and the Grand Duchess's son, Louis. And more of the Grand Duchess. And that's Guillaume's wife, Stephanie. She's the hereditary Grand Duchess. Saxophone! Okay, the best part of that video was that shot of the castle and the gardens and the fountain at the end. That was just lovely. Okay, the music, whatever. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think? Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the musical stylings of DJ Vintrix? Did you hear what I heard? Were the lyrics to that about wasting time? Were the lyrics saying over and over again, wasting time, wasting time? Which, that's a weird message, is it not, to give for the Grand Ducal garden party? Anyway, I thought that was funny. So there you go. There's a little bit of Belgian Prince Emanuel's DJ music. Would you hire him? Would you hire him to DJ your garden party? I don't know. I might just for the heck of it. All right. So that, oh no, we're not quite out of Belgium yet. So, a little bit of a downer news. King Albert, that being the retired, king, he also another abdication. He abdicated in favor of, Prince Emmanuel's father, King Philippe being the son of Albert. And Albert is going into surgery for the 6th time for skin cancer. This is a longish article about an elderly man's health problems. Not so fun, so we will just kind of skim this a little bit. This is King Albert here on the left, and that is his wife, Queen Paola. Obviously, they are quite elderly. And yes, I'll just sort of sum up some of the points. He is 91, so 91 is not an easy age for anyone, I imagine. But the surgery has been successful. It says he was first diagnosed with skin cancer over a decade ago, and he had it recurred, so they took care of it. And this is apparently, again, 6th time this has happened. And they say everything's fine, no complications. He is recovering. And the Belgian media, it says, had speculated because the former king, had made his last public appearance at the Italian embassy, and he had what they describe as a huge scar on his face between his lip and his nose at this reception in honor of the Queen. And so the Belgian royal family came out and said, it's fine, he's fine. Yes, he had surgery, but he's okay. And they mention that someone we're about to cover, our next story, Spain's King Juan Carlos, also had the same problem with skin cancer on his cheek. And in 2019, he also had surgery. And as you may or may not know, King Juan Carlos, he's elderly and he is, had his health problems, but he's still with us. And as a matter of fact, we are going to cover him now. What is another emeritus king, King Juan Carlos of Spain, who abdicated in favor of his son, Felipe. We had Philippe, now we have Felipe. And King Juan Carlos is going to release a memoir, which apparently it already has a title, a publisher, etc. So I guess this is a done deal. This isn't a suggestion, a promise, or a threat. And he's a very interesting character who his life, his career as a king and a former king has spanned many decades. But one wonders if he would conceal more than reveal, considering Juan Carlos's past. So let's go ahead and read this article from Hola. Royal to release a memoir. I feel like my story is being stolen from me. The book recounts in detail the private side of a public life, according to a press release. Over here, there is a rather old photograph of the Spanish members of the Spanish royal family. That's Juan Carlos, the older gentleman here, his wife, Queen Sophia, who was born a princess of Greece. Not that Greece no longer has a sitting monarchy, but they still have a royal family. That's their son, King Felipe, his wife, Queen Letizia, and then their 2 daughters, Sophia, the younger one, named after, obviously, her grandmother, and then Leonor, the elder of the 2, who is the heir to her father, King Felipe. So, honestly, back to this line about in detail, the private side of a public life. I think that most people would probably want to hear about all of the king's, say, extracurricular activities. He's been known to have many paramours during his long marriage to Queen Sophia. He is, rumored to have multiple love children floating around, some of whom have been, named. I don't believe anybody has been in any way officially confirmed, certainly not in the sense of like what happened in Belgium with Princess Delphine. But anyway, that was another story. Was another story. I believe we covered this a little bit at one point on a previous episode about the Belgian royal family. But anyway, I feel like that's the salacious stuff that people would want to hear, and also the corruption angle, because I assume at least part of why King Juan Carlos abdicated. It wasn't ill health. It wasn't a desire to retire, but it was because he had been caught. He fell out of a tree in Africa while he was on safari hunting elephants with his mistress. And not only was the mistress thing revealed in a way that was you couldn't argue one's way out of that. But she also revealed, she did an entire podcast series after the fact about her affair with the king and, financial corruption and that she felt that she was even harassed by the intelligence services and the police in Spain because of what she knew and all of this. It was actually, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it was an interesting series. It was actually she herself speaking. But that's again, have to do a series on the scandals of the Spanish royal family, and then we could really get into that one in depth. But I do wonder what the king would say that hasn't been said before. So let's take a look at the article. And there's there we go. That would be the book cover. A much younger photo of the king. It says Juan Carlos the First, but it doesn't need the first because there's been no second as of yet. Obviously, reconciliation, memories. Okay, King Felipe of Spain's father, Juan Carlos the First, has a memoir coming out. The former king's book, titled Reconciliation, has said to have been written with an open heart and without concessions. A press release for the upcoming memoir includes a quote from Juan Carlos, who left Spain in 2020 amid a financial scandal. "My father always advised me not to write my memoirs. Kings don't confess, especially not publicly. Their secrets remained buried in the shadows of palaces. Why do I disobey him today? Why have I changed my mind? Because I feel like my story is being stolen from me." The former king, 87, is quoted as saying, translated to English. Yes, of course, it's translated to English. According to Editorial Planeta, the memoir navigates between the two exiles that mark the beginning and end of his life. The forced one in Estoril, meaning Portugal, and the voluntary one in Abu Dhabi, and many of the most prominent figures in contemporary history pass through it. The monarch, in the twilight of his life and far from his family, prepares to make his final confession. "I have no right to cry," he says. Pardon me, but he has the right to seek his much longed-for reconciliation with the country he loves and yearns for so much. And if you are confused by anything that I just said, why was he exiled twice? Well, if you aren't familiar with Spanish history, to make it as quick and succinct as possible, the Spanish monarchy was interrupted for a period of Spanish history by the fascist dictator Francisco Franco, who ruled basically as a form of a king himself, kind of. And then when Franco was ending his tenure, he decided to pass power on to Juan Carlos. He restored the monarchy, skipping over Juan Carlos's father, who should have been king. He was still alive, but he was passed over in favor of Juan Carlos, who then came to the throne, restoring the monarchy, and he is credited with giving democracy to Spain after the dictatorship of Franco. So King Juan Carlos, despite his, his personal peccadillos, his less than faithfulness to his wife, his less than observant Catholicism, shall we say, was nevertheless beloved by many in Spain for, making things better. This is arguable. I am not arguing politics. We have no politics in the French Dip Empire. I'm just saying this is what's out there. And, but, Juan Carlos had a very rather untouchable position, but then things started coming out little by little. Even his daughter and son-in-law, no longer son-in-law now, were embroiled in financial troubles. And then the elephant safari incident happened, and it blew everything open. And he, I forgot to mention the reason the Estoril, the forced exile, that was the Franco era, at least the beginning, the beginning of this. When the monarchy ended, the royal family were kicked out of Spain. They left Spain. They hung out in Portugal for a while, and then they came back. Then in recent years, when King Juan Carlos's, obviously the infidelity was the lesser of the issue. Everyone knew that was a thing, and I suppose everyone knew that the corruption was there, but once it gets exposed, you can't have that. And the king abdicated, and then he moved away. Again, so this is the voluntary one in Abu Dhabi, where he's been living, but I've heard that he would like to come back. I've heard that he's back in Portugal, actually, and that he is kind of that he would like to move back to Portugal. I can't remember what the rumor was. It was either that the king is in Portugal or he would like to move back to Portugal because ultimately he would like to come back to Spain. It is, his nation. But the current king, Felipe, his son, and the queen would not want Juan Carlos to necessarily come back and steal attention, possibly cause problems. It wouldn't be good. It's not a good look. It doesn't work. So they would be opposing this. This is what I'm hearing, and it also makes sense. This is what I would imagine their attitude would be. We don't want him to come back. Well, I don't know if this memoir is an attempt to push his own agenda in that regard, to stir up a wellspring of love and support and nostalgia for the king, the former king, so that he could come back and spend the rest of his days in Spain. I don't really know, but that would be my guess. So back to the article. The press release for the book notes: this work, written in the first person and whose publication is in itself a historic event, indeed seeks to redress that situation. If His Majesty has decided to recount his story after almost 40 years of reign, it is because exile in Abu Dhabi, some of the published opinion, and, why not, his own mistakes, have ended up overshadowing his career and his fundamental contributions to the success of Spanish democracy. That makes me think, I don't know why. Now I'm thinking that would be Guns N' Roses follow-up album, or a sequel to Chinese democracy, Spanish democracy. Okay, back to the article. Reconciliación recounts in detail the private side of a public life, per Editorial Planeta. It is a memoir rich in anecdotes that do not avoid the most significant episodes of our recent history, nor the joys or the hardships of his intimate and personal life, a journey that begins in a country immersed in a Cainite war, with a young Juan Carlos anchored to a destiny that is not his, but who, step by step, evading 1,000 plots and earning the trust of all, ends up becoming the main actor in the radical transformation of Spain into the modern and prosperous state it is today. And here we have Juan Carlos. Does it say when this is from? No, but obviously the somewhat more recent photograph. He's walking with a cane, and that's him in the center, and that's King Felipe, his son, on the right, and Queen Letizia, his daughter-in-law, on the left. After 39 years on the throne, Juan Carlos abdicated in favor of his son Felipe in June of 2014. When Queen Sophia's husband announced his intention to abdicate, he said, "A new generation must be at the forefront, younger people with new energies." The former monarch withdrew from public life in 2019. In 2020, Juan Carlos wrote in a letter to his son that he would be leaving the country. "Your Majesty, dear Felipe, with the same desire for service to Spain that inspired my reign, and in the face of the public repercussion that certain past events in my private life are generating, I wish to express to you my utmost availability to contribute to facilitating the exercise of your functions, from the tranquility that requires," is this a mistranslation? It's redundant. "That requires your high responsibility. My legacy and my own dignity as a person is what they demand of me," Juan Carlos penned. "A year ago, I expressed my will and desire to stop developing institutional activities. Now guided by the conviction of providing the best service to the Spanish, their institutions, and you as king, I am communicating my thoughtful decision to move, at this time, outside of Spain. I like the way they write this. Queen Letitia's father-in-law continued. Why did they mention her? That's so weird. Like when it says Queen Sophia's husband, a decision I make with deep feeling, but with great serenity. Doubt, not how could you be happy about that? How? I have been king of Spain for almost 40 years, and during all of them, I have always wanted the best for Spain and for the crown, with my loyalty forever, with the affection and affection of always. Again, redundant. I think it's a mistranslation. Your father. Well, I would have to say I don't know if the memoirs are necessarily what Spain wants or needs at this time. I suppose this is a wonderful contribution to history, to hear what Juan Carlos has to say about himself, but it sounds like this is definitely, instead of reconciliation, I think it's rehabilitation, clearly rehabilitating Juan Carlos's image for history, an attempt to get in the last word, which, while valuable, there's no way that his own very obviously biased memoirs are going to be able to balance out everything, all of the evidence of everything else that, I'm sure even when he is finally passed, even more things will come out. But it is what it is. So he's publishing his memoirs, and we wait to see what will come out. What will he say about Franco? What will he say about his relationship with his father, who should have been the King of Spain, but got completely passed over? It's almost, some kind of mythic, karmic kind of thing. Like Juan Carlos took the throne that his father should have had. His father had to watch his son be the king that he was supposed to be. And then Juan Carlos ends up having to abdicate, which I'm sure he never imagined he would ever do or would want to do, for his son, and then have to watch and end his life looking at his son on the throne that should be, it's like a mirror, it's like looking into a mirror and seeing it happen all over again. I wonder if Juan Carlos has more understanding, more, if there would be any, now I know what my father went through. Will he talk about the supposedly accidental shooting of his younger brother that happened when they were teenagers? A very, very old scandal of the Spanish royal family. Will he talk about his children-in-law? Will he give his opinion of the queen? I mean, Letizia. Will he talk about his own queen, Sophia? Will he mention how much he cheated on her? Will he name his illegitimate children out there in the world? I doubt we're going to see any of the juicy stuff, but it will still be interesting to see what he writes. And now, looking ahead, we move on. Okay, now we're going to just sort of look at a lot of fun pictures and not so much read articles. Now we are moving on to the United Kingdom and Wimbledon, which we were at a little while ago, seeing King Fredrik of Denmark taking in one of the matches. And it has been the first week. I forget exactly which date, if it started exactly on the 1st, but it's been the first week of Wimbledon, and we've got another week to go. Presumably, Kate Middleton, aka the Princess of Wales, is to attend this coming week with her daughter, Princess Charlotte. So if we do a Royal Roundup next week, and that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have this be a new feature on the site and on the channel, and maybe, once a week or once every 2 weeks, take a look at what's been going on with the royal houses of Europe and perhaps beyond, if we see anything interesting that's happening in the Middle East or over in Japan or what have you. Then we can talk about that as well. But right now we're just doing Europe as a little test stream, a little test show, see how fun this can be. So we're going to the UK And these are the best photos of royals at Wimbledon 2025, from Princess Beatrice to Lady Amelia Windsor. The royal family is already out in full force to watch some grass court tennis. Okay, I'm not reading the text. We're just here to look at photos. So, day 4, July 3, Lady Amelia Windsor, and she's sort of like a model. She kind of models, not runway modeling, but she's one of those people who's famous enough and attractive enough that she has designers giving her, free clothing to wear at appearances. And if you are not clear on who Lady Amelia Windsor is in the grand scheme of the British royal family, how to put this the quickest and easiest way. Okay, her grandfather is the Duke of Kent, and the Duke of Kent was first cousin to the late Queen Elizabeth II. The Duke of Kent is the son of a previous Duke of Kent, who was the brother of the Queen's father. I hope that's clear. So, Lady Amelia is not royal. Back in the day, she would have been Princess Amelia, but the British royal family changed some rules and said, after a point, you can't be royal. And when you have too many kids and too many generations, they stop being royal. So she is part of the cutoff, as is her father, who will one day be a duke, but not a royal duke. So there's that. His father is a royal duke. The current duke is a royal duke. But then there's the cutoff. I hope that makes sense. The grandchildren of a monarch get to be royal. The great-grandchildren, not so much. And you may have, if you're familiar with the whole Sussex, will their children be royal or not issue, that was discussed ad nauseum, I believe. So moving on with Wimbledon picks. Here we go. This is Prince Michael of Kent, another one of the first cousins of the late Queen Elizabeth II. Prince Michael of Kent would be the grand uncle of Lady Amelia. Prince Michael is the younger brother of the current Duke of Kent. And day 3, July 2nd, there's Princess Michael of Kent, the wife of Prince Michael. Her name is not Michael. Her title is Prince Michael. Her name is Marie Christine. She was born a baroness, but anyway, now she is a princess, and the very grand, very tall Princess Michael of Kent. And as they mention here, she was she was in the royal box with John Cena and Olivia Rodrigo. Wow. I'm sure she was thrilled, and I'm sure they were too. Day 2, July 1st, here is Lady Rose Gilman, as they tell you here, the daughter of the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester. And to explain again, Lady Rose is one of those would have been royals, except that they changed the rules, and she's after the cutoff. So her father is, again, a royal duke, much like the Duke of Kent, because his father, the previous Duke of Gloucester, was another one of the younger brothers of the father, the king, of Queen Elizabeth II. I hope this is clear. Queen Elizabeth II's father was King George VI. He had younger brothers. One was the Duke of Gloucester, one was the Duke of Kent. Not the current dukes. They are all deceased now. The current Dukes of Gloucester and Kent are the first cousins of the Queen. Their fathers were her father's brothers. I hope that's clear. So Lady Rose Gilman was born Windsor. She's now married to George Gilman. That's not him on the right there. But so she is now Lady Rose Gilman. And behind her, you see Rebel Wilson in the pink and Kate Blanchett in her sort of pale blue suit. And there's Lord Frederick Windsor. Another would have been a prince, but didn't get to be. And he is the son of Prince and Princess Michael of Kent. He's part of the Kent branch of the British royal family. He was not in the royal box, but he seems to be enjoying himself nonetheless. He was very into the tennis, however. And then day one, there was Princess Beatrice. So Bea was there, and she was also with her mother, the Duchess of York, Sarah, who I'm just going to scooch over here. We're looking at Town and Country magazine's coverage of this, but Harper's Bazaar also covered the royals and celebrities at Wimbledon. And here's the picture they used. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can really see. Now, okay, first of all, we'll just call it out. Yes, that's Jason Isaacs, the actor in the background between Bea and Sarah. I think they'd done Sarah dirty. Harper's Bazaar. Sarah does herself no favors with her choice of styling and fashion. She's clearly styling and dressing as a woman much younger than she actually is. But I don't think it was necessary to pick this particular photograph where Bea looks charming and happy and Sarah looks unhappy and a bit witchy. And again, I think this is just very unflattering and kind of mean of them to publish. But if anything, it's a reminder to Sarah, change your styling. Your hair is too red. Your dress is too green. It's a little too much. But anyway, Sarah. And there she is again, looking a little too much. You know, it's funny. My perception of the Duchess of York has certainly changed over the decades. And I used to think she was just sort of like a, bit of a bumbling, hapless figure that would kind of stumble into a lot of, scandals and nonsense, because I figured she was perhaps not a bit as bright as she needed to be, as savvy as she needed to be. And then in more recent decades, with everything that's come out, not the least of which the Epstein stuff, but that's just one of the things that's the most notable thing, I suppose, that Sarah has been connected to that's shady AF. She just seems to come across as, evil, like evil, like a witchy kind of evil character. It's very strange. I never got that vibe earlier. I'm not sure if it's just more of her personality has kind of come out and the things she's done, or if my eyes have been opened as time has passed. Maybe a little of both. So there's Sarah with Jason Isaacs. And here's Lady Gabriella Windsor. Again, another one of the, could have been a princess, but they changed the rules. And she is Lord Fredrik Windsor's brother. Brother. He's her brother. She's his sister. That makes sense. They wrote the children of Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, who we saw earlier. And poor Lady Gabriella lost her husband last year, very tragically, to a apparent self-unaliving that they blamed on some medication. They had a weird change in medication and apparently had a incredibly bad reaction. And that was incredibly shocking. So there she is. But considering everything she's been through, she looks fantastic. And that's a nice, I assume that's a dress. I suppose it could be a blouse. And there she is again, smiling. So that's great. And okay, so there are our British royals and, mostly the not royals, but nonetheless, the relatives of the British royal family, the extended British royal family. There's your actual, we had Bea, who was an actual royal, still royal. Sarah was royal, no longer. We have Princess Michael, royal. Prince Michael, royal. And then everyone else is almost royal. So in week 2, I wonder if we're going to get some more of the heavy hitters, some actual more HRHs. And since we mentioned the Yorkies, while I was perusing Ola, I saw this article. So this is just a fluff piece. Beatrice of York, unaware of the rumors, enjoys the summer. And there was probably farther in the article, it talks about how she's wearing the vampire's wife dress. Nick, I keep wanting to say Nick Cage. It's Nick Cave, the singer, the musician, the songwriter, not Nick Cage, the American actor. Nick Cave, he's Australian, right? He lives in Britain now, but he's Australian. His wife's fashion design label company, which actually no, it ended, like she shut it down, I guess, at the beginning of this year, I think. But Kate's known, the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, as she's called. It's Kate Windsor, right? Kate Mountbatten Windsor, but they love to call her Kate Middleton. Just like they used to love to call Diana Lady Di, well, after she was princess. But anyway, they're doing a lot of like fluff pieces on what she's wearing. She's wearing the Vampire's Wife, which Kate loves to wear, blah, blah. However, I see this, and I don't know how I missed this in the past. While rumors of a possible marital crisis, with Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi circulate in some British media. Oh, movie of the week in the chat. I see you there. Bad Seeds Nick Cave. Yes, that Nick Cave. Yes, the singer, the musician, that Nick Cave. Not Nick Cage, the actor. Nick Cave, his wife Susie. I think it's Susie. Did I get that right? Susie had a fashion label, and celebrities wore it. And she's sort of known for these shimmery, sparkly dresses. They look a certain way, and you can pretty much peg them immediately as, oh, that's one of her dresses. Very identifiable. Okay, so I did not know this. They're saying that B has been showing up to events, and there they are. She is at Wimbledon with her mom. Let's see, do we have any? And there she is in the dress. You can kind of see the style, the ruffles, and the sleeves and whatever, very typical of the label. But anyway, they're saying, ooh, could there be trouble in paradise? Now, they just had a baby not that long ago, B and Ado. So is there really trouble in paradise? I had no idea that these rumors have been going on apparently for months now. They're saying that Ado hasn't been showing up, and they're like joined at the hip. B and Ado show up together at events when B goes to social events. Ado is usually there. They tried to make one of the I think this article, and maybe another article I read about the same topic, was suggesting that, oh, well, Ado is busy. He's a busy businessman, and he also has a son with another woman. So, he's got a lot of things to do that would keep him busy and away from his wife, Princess B. Well, I don't know. Is there trouble in paradise? What do you think? Do you think just the couple not showing up to a few events together means that they're going to get divorced or something? It said that I think it's this article. I can click on it. This will be quick. I think they said the last time they were photographed together publicly, is this the article? Was in Abu Dhabi. Oh, she looks pretty nice in that outfit. I have to say, that's one thing. B certainly stepped up her fashion and style game when she got together with Ado. She really reinvented, after being known with her sister Eugenie as the two princesses who just could not dress properly at all, something that surely they inherited from their mother. Remember the toilet seat hat? Remember the toilet seat hat from the wedding? Was that Kate and William's wedding? I can't remember which wedding it was. One of the royal weddings where B and Eugenie, they were even compared to, I think, the evil stepsisters in Cinderella, the way they were dressed, because I think their outfits had similar colors. Poor B. B and Euge were just dragged through the mud for the way that they dressed and styled themselves. And when B got together with Ado, I don't know whether it was him. I don't know whether she consulted someone. Oh, they don't have the pictures from Abu Dhabi here. I thought it was Abu Dhabi, or was it somewhere else? But anyway, the last time that B and Ado were photographed together was with Euge, and they were at an F1 event. But that was a few months ago. So, who knows? Maybe we have another divorce coming for the British royal family. That would be unpleasant, unhappy, but remains to be seen. Place your bets. And now, moving on with some more photographs. Let's see. We're going to the Netherlands. Here we go. More Ola. The Dutch royal family have done their I think they do they do it once a year or twice a year? But they do a summer photo shoot traditionally annually. And so here we go. These are the latest photographs of the Dutch royal family, and you get to see how everyone's looking. And I think the big takeaway from the recent photos is that the youngest daughter is gigantic. She is so tall. I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, I've heard that Dutch people overall are like the tallest people. Not every individual Dutch person, but that, as far as all around the globe, every country, every nation, Dutch people on average are the tallest. I don't know if that's true, but this is what I've heard. And the youngest daughter, Ariane, is definitely, or is that Alexi? No, Alexi's the middle one, right? Amalia, it's the triple A. They call them the triple A's. The daughters all have names starting with A, which is a little weird if you know anything about Argentinian history and know the queen being Argentinian and her father and what he did. But anyway, that's a little political. We won't go into that. I still think it's weird that they nickname the daughters like the AAA girls or whatever. But here we have the king, who's got this sort of in-between facial hair situation. The queen, Maxima, wearing her dress. We'll see more pictures of the dress. I'm not in love with it. There's Amalia, princess. She's the eldest of the three daughters. She's the heir to her father. And you notice she's doing the green theme along with the second daughter, Alexia, who is clearly leaning into the sort of fashion lifestyle. How do I put this kindly? All right, well, I'll just say, okay, this is the third daughter, and Ariane, she's very tall. You'll notice it's not a tiny family. They're not short people. The king is known for being, a little thick, let's say. A little thick. We'll be kind. And Maxima, she's considered one of the most beautiful royals. She's always looked pretty good. And she's not a Letizia. She's not a Kate Middleton, She's a healthy lady. And I think the daughters reflect that. But Alexia has kind of leaned into she's supposedly the most beautiful of the princesses. And I think she's leaning a little too hard into I have to be pretty thing. And getting maybe a little abnormally, well, I think she's taking a little too far. So here are the photos. They've got their dog. Okay, the dog photos are going to get funny. I don't know if they opted for shooting in the shade as opposed to using filters. Is this like a kind of filter thing? You know what I mean? But here are the girls. There they are. I feel bad. Alexia never is looking super happy anymore. She used to always have this sort of cranky face. People would call her out. I don't want to use the terms they used, but here she looks pleasant. Here she looks almost, happy. There's Amalia and her father, the king. Now, here's where the photos get funny. Okay, I don't know what it is with Maxima. I'm not loving the hair, and the dress looks like a little girl's dress. Now, look at the little dog. This is Mambo, who, it says, has been with the family since 2021. Mambo looks scared. They're on a bridge over some water. Now, maybe it's just one photo, right? Now, look. Now, here's Maxima. And look at poor little Mambo. He looks so scared. If you could see his face, he looks terrified. Like, don't pick me up. I know the look of a dog who doesn't want to be picked up. That's it. Here he is picked up looking terrified. And here is a very awkward photograph, and I have no idea why this was released. Again, the dog looks scared. Is it just me, or does it look like Maxima is going to throw this poor dog off of a bridge? Or at least the dog looks like it's about to be tossed off of a bridge. I don't know why, but these photos are really weird. Although that bridge is really cool. It's a lovely design, but I feel bad for poor little Mambo. He doesn't seem to have been, consenting to being brought into this photo shoot. And then they're laughing. Oh, let's laugh at Mambo. He's scared. No, I'm not. They're not laughing at Mambo. Although maybe you can see from the side shot of Alexia, I think she's taking things a little too far, especially when you consider that the camera adds weight. So she'd look much thinner in person. And I think it's time to start being careful. Let's be careful, right? Happy, not so happy. Although Amalia looks very glamorous, sort of. It's a very glamorous presentation. She seems a little bit more serious than maybe Alexia, who seems more into fashion. So it's always funny to me when Amalia is wearing these like woo fashion kinds of things, and I think their mother is dressing a little too young or something. I'm not sure what between the hair and the dress. I'm not loving it. I'm not feeling it. And again, I don't know what it is with all the shadows, why they're in the shadows. Like, again, in lieu of filter, I don't know. But look how tall the youngest daughter is. She is super tall, just like her father. So there you go, waving goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. That's it for the pictures of the Dutch. And then, finally, our last more photo shoots. There were the European movie of the week in the chat. I see you. That is an odd way to hold the dog. Well, especially if the dog isn't being super cooperative and she's just trying to keep a smile on her face and be like, ha, everything's fine. Here, come here, Mambo. And the dog's like, the heck with this. Leave me alone, maybe. Leave me alone. No, Mom. And she's picking up the dog and, he's looking at the water. I don't know. The dog looks scared. But anyway. Not a willing prop, I assume. So let's see. We ran a little longer than I thought. We're almost an hour and a half in. So at this point, I would just like to ask if you are listening and enjoying, please go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment in the chat or under the video if you're catching this on the replay. And for our final story, back to Ola. Ola was really bringing it this week. From Monaco, our last European country we were visiting, Max Casiraghi is now a model. Aren't we all thrilled? What a great career for a child to be a model. Yeah, well, especially if your mother has a fashion design business and you are modeling for your mother. So one celebrity mother who doesn't mind having her children exposed to the media. The Casiraghis, of course, are Princess Caroline of Monaco's family. From her second husband, she had her 3 children, Andrea, a boy, not a girl, Charlotte, and Pierre. And we talked about them a little bit because Pierre's wife is expecting their 3rd child, and we talked about that on a recent episode, a show, the first of a series that we've begun on the scandals of the Monaco royal house, which isn't technically royal, it's serene, but we'll call them royal. So this is Maximilian 7, and you can see he's on the left, and on the right, that's his big sister, India, and they are modeling for their mother, Tatiana Santo Domingo, herself a billionaireess, and she is the wife of Andrea Casiraghi, Princess Caroline's elder of 2 sons. And so their mother, Tatiana, she's the co-owner of a fashion house called Mzungu Sisters. And so here was a London fashion show, and the kids starred, and the clothing they're starred in, the clothing they're wearing comes from their mother's brand. And here you see Max getting a little something painted on his arm, and they were doing like face paintings, but on their arms, arm paintings. I guess that's a thing. Maybe they wanted to keep the kids' faces clean for the modeling, so they did it on their arms. You can see here India has her arm painted with, I think, flowers. And I'm not reading the article because it's basically just saying that the Tatiana and Andrea Casiraghi used to live in London. Now they live in Sonnen, Switzerland, and the kids go to school at the JFK International School, which this says follows a British curriculum. And there's India and Max again, and here they are again. You can tell by the little green and white outfits. And yeah, so there's a third child, a Casiraghi child. Well, there are multiple Casiraghi children, but between Tatiana Santo Domingo and Andrea Casiraghi, they also have another son, a younger son. And as they say, it remains to be seen if he will join in the modeling. But right now, we've got India and Max, and they're modeling for Mommy's clothing brand. So a nice job if you can get it. We've had a lot of nepotism, a lot of nepo jobs. The Belgian prince DJing for his relatives, the Luxembourg Grand Duke and Duchess, and we have the Casiraghi children modeling for their mom. So anyway, that concludes this week's Royal Roundup, our very first Royal Roundup episode. Hope to make this a series in the future, maybe weekly. We'll see if we can do that, if there are enough stories that are worth covering, or maybe wait a couple weeks. We'll have to see how it goes. If you've enjoyed this show, let me have a little feedback. What stories did you like? What royal families or royal personages or royal adjacent personages would you like to see? Are you interested in the Asian royal families, the Middle East, the Far East? Yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it. I suppose there's African royalty as well, but I am very, very unschooled in that topic. So that would be a learning experience for me. But if there is an interest, I would certainly be willing to talk about it. But until then, until our next show and our next Royal Roundup, if you want a little preview of what is coming up on French Dip Empire in the future, I am working on more updates to our series. We've got the Crypto Bros Gone Wild series. We'll have more of that. I am getting back into an older series that I had started on the debutantes of Le Bal 2024, and we are coming I'm working on that next episode, hoping that will come out this week. And I'm also looking into starting a new series on the Iranian imperial family. Speaking of Middle Eastern, Central Asia, is that Central? I guess that's near Asia. Whatever. Persia, Iran has been in the news lately, and I decided to take a look at the Iranian imperial family. It's a very short history. There hasn't been much of an Iranian empire in the modern era, but it is very interesting and full of stories and scandal and gossip and tragedy. And it's a fascinating story, and I'm going to get started on the first part of that series also this coming week. That's the plan. And we will be getting back into our other scandals of the European royal families and introducing some new. We've done Norway, we've done Monaco, and I've had a request for Denmark. So, and of course I mentioned Spain. So more things to come. There are even more topics I haven't even covered, but it will all be coming up in future this week and also weeks to come. So I hope you come back for those. I've enjoyed presenting it, so I hope you're enjoying watching and listening. And if you have, I'd like to ask again, please please subscribe, and please comment. Every little bit helps to build up the channel, get it out to more people's eyes so they can come in and contribute, say hi. I'm always happy to take a topic suggestion. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm getting back to my series on the Wildenstein family and so much more. So thank you for joining me. I'm the Empress. This is French Dip Empire. and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.